Hi. Excuse me, Deneen Shoemaker with your 420 Minute. So I got myself some internet this week, and boy, that stuff isn't cheap, especially out in the sticks, but it's worth it. So this week, today actually is Palm Sunday, and of course, next week is what we celebrate as Easter. And let's face it, you don't have to be a Christian or a follower of Jesus to celebrate Easter. There's lots and lots of rabbits and things to buy out there. But I tend to give my grandbaby a lamb instead of bunnies. But I'll let you deal with that on your own. So, what those of us who follow Jesus, what we recognize this week is that on Maundy Thursday, we know that Jesus was betrayed and handed into the hands of the government to be dealt with as a rebel. And then, of course, on Friday is when he is crucified, and I'm not quite sure when they bury him, and I'm not really quite sure exactly why they call it Good Friday. Those are good things for you to look up, no pun intended. But we know that on Sunday we celebrate Easter, and that is a celebration that the worst thing is never the last thing. In other words, that Jesus dying a horrible criminal's death was not the last word. It was not the last thing, because we know from the story that when the stone is rolled back, the tomb is empty. And Jesus shows himself to people for the next 40 days, I believe. If I'm wrong on that, I'm sure you'll let me know. Anyway, but what I guess I wanted to really talk with you about today is why the cross. You hear lots of reasons, and probably one of the most popular reasons is substitutionary, where God sent Jesus to die on the cross because we are sinful, and he had to have a way to be able to accept us because, or even though, or in spite of our selfish and sinful nature. And so Jesus was sent for that purpose. I guess, and for me, I always had trouble with that as a child, especially like, well, if God is a God of love, which I believe wholeheartedly, then how do you send your... I don't get that. That never quite made sense to me. So, I don't know who's right and who's wrong. I just know what feels right in my spirit. And so, what I have come to believe is that the cross is more descriptive than it is prescriptive. In other words, I believe that God knew what his son, God's son, would endure, would face, would eventually suffer in his life on earth. Yet, he loved all of us so much that he wanted us to see the right way to live. Not out of fear, but out of life and abundance and love. Do I think that he knew what we as humans were going to do? I do. Yet, we were loved so much that he still wanted, and I don't think God is a he, it's bigger than that, but we were loved so much that even though that was pretty certain in the future, God still allowed the plan to move forward. That's what I believe. And I believe it is both a testament to that love that we can freely tap into, and at the same time a reflection of who we are as human beings. We had God standing before us, trying to literally, on this earth in human flesh, show us how to live abundantly, and we killed him. I think that says a lot about us, and that it's meant to. The story is meant to evoke enough emotion in you to help you to realize clearly we do need saving from ourselves. So I'm going to let you ponder that this week. I hope you have a great week. I hope this is kind of some of the last of our really bad Michigan spring weather. So anyway, get out there and live your best life. This ain't no dress rehearsal, folks. Grace and peace.